Business is picking up for Texas football, and we've got a ton of portal intel to get your Saturday started right here on Locked On Longhorns. Intro.
You are Locked On Longhorns, your daily podcast on the Texas Longhorns. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome in. You are locked on to the Texas Longhorns, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now the number one sports podcast network in the world. I'm your host, BK, Brad Kellner, Texas grad, Austin local, and longtime sports radio host here in the Lone Star State. Thank you, everydayers, for making Locked On Longhorns a part of your day every single day. We are, of course, free and available wherever you get your podcasts and on YouTube as well. So please subscribe. And as always, one of the fastest ways to help us grow is by leaving a comment. So thank y'all sincerely for that. Longhorn fans got some good news last night with the commitment of former Florida State linebacker Justin Cryer. And I think a lot more good news is on the horizon. Have there been some early hiccups in the portal? Absolutely. But Steve Sarkisian and company have always had a goal and a plan to upgrade the Texas roster for 2026. And because of some of the departures and some of the misses, Steve Sarkisian has a working budget bigger than what it was a couple of weeks ago and bigger than a lot of teams around the country. So the Longhorns are going after a number of big names, and we'll rapid fire through a few of them right now, starting with running back Hollywood Smothers. We've talked about how quickly things can change in the portal. The former NC State tailback committed to Alabama on Monday, seemingly ending Texas and everybody else's chances of landing him. But even though he committed 5 days ago, he still has not signed with the Crimson Tide. And as with any high school recruitment, no transfer recruitment is officially done until the player signs the dotted line. So not only has Smothers not done that with Bama, he's currently here in Austin on a visit. And yes, even though Texas has already signed Raleek Brown, and yes, he's signed, nothing to worry about there. We've talked about the Longhorns still being in the market for another running back for the upcoming 2026 season. And it appears they're not just messing around with any running back. Smothers is currently the second highest rated running back in the portal, below only Caleb Hawkins, the North Texas transfer who followed his coach to Oklahoma State. So nobody really had a chance at him anyways. So this is basically the top guy who was actually looking around for options. And Texas currently has him on campus right now. So the Longhorns already have one top 5 transfer running back under contract, and they are going after a second. How about that? Not only would you help yourself, but you're hurting another team in your conference if you are able to get this flip. Wow. Smothers is a hell of a player. Hell of a name, by the way. Hollywood Smothers. It's one of the best names of any transfer portal player this year. But coming off a fantastic redshirt sophomore season at NC State, meaning he does have 2 years of eligibility left, I'm not sure he's going to need him. First team All-ACC, 939 rushing yards and 6 touchdowns in 2025, just under 6 yards per carry. Also 37 receptions for the Wolfpack as well. Maybe my favorite stat, those are pretty good numbers right there, but I think my favorite number for Hollywood, 0 fumbles all season. Yes, please. 5'11", 195, a little taller than Raleek Brown, but the same weight. So this wouldn't be your stereotypical thunder and lightning combo in the backfield in terms of size, but it would be 2 really good difference-making running backs in the same backfield, and I will never be opposed to that. And Smothers does break a ton of tackles, by the way. He's not a super finesse guy. You might hear 195 and think he's all about the speed. Now, he does break through a lot of arm tackles and can extend runs, especially for a guy of his size. This would be a huge pickup for Texas, no question. Now, what does it mean for Christian Clark? I mentioned in last night's episode that Texas had agreed to a deal with Christian Clark for the 2026 season, but apparently that deal has yet to be signed. My hope, and I know the Texas coaching staff's hope, is that Clark is willing to stick around even with the addition of another portal running back, whether it's Smothers or somebody else. But, until he's fully signed, it's unfortunately a situation that is still worth monitoring. Clark is a bigger running back than either Smothers or Brown, and obviously a guy who'd be here beyond 2026 as well. So I would love him. And again, the Texas staff wants to keep him here, but we will see what happens. But man, Hollywood Smothers on campus right now, a great bit of news for Texas's pursuit of another running back. So there's that update. Now, how about an update on the guys who block for the running backs? To this point, the Longhorns have only added one offensive lineman from the portal, Dylan Sikorsky, coming in from Oregon State. Texas still needs 3, maybe 4, maybe even 5 more. They know that. They are not done. A name to know up front, Mikey Bennett from Yale. Yes, Yale. Before you get too worried about the school, I will tell you that Bennett has been first-team All-Ivy League in each of the past 2 seasons, and he was also named honorable mention All-American at the FCS level in 2025. I think one publication actually had him as a second-team All-American. The AP had him as an honorable mention. Either way, one of the best offensive linemen in the country at that level of football. He's got tons of starting experience and a pretty loaded resume to boot. 6'5", 310 pounds, another rental with just 1 year of eligibility remaining. The Texas O-line had a ton of penalties this year, and I assume everyone who spends a few years at an Ivy League school is smart. Texas could use some more of that up front. 28 starts for Bennett in his career, more than 2,000 snaps at the right tackle position here in 2025, or I guess we just finished 2025, but this past season allowed just 2 sacks, 2 quarterback hits, and 5 hurries in 839 snaps played. And I mentioned he was pretty smart. I'm not just assuming. Only 1 penalty this season in 839 snaps. The Texas offensive line didn't have numbers like that. I think Bennett is a guy who could play tackle, but could also swing inside and play some guard. And it feels like there's some serious interest on the Texas side here. He's in Austin for a visit. Sounds like it's a 2-day visit. I would take him. And again, I don't think the Longhorns would be done with just Mikey Bennett. They're waiting on a few more offensive linemen to enter the portal, and they are going to want a few more offensive linemen. So this won't be the end of their search. But again, a guy with tons of experience, a guy who's done a lot in college football. So there's the offensive side of things. Now over to defense. I also mentioned last night that the Longhorns' pursuit of linebackers is not finished. I think they could add 2 more, even with the addition of Justin Cryer. Bo Barnes is in the portal right now. He's taking visits around the country. I know there's been some scuttlebutt about Texas trying to get him back, and I do think the Longhorns would love to have him back, but because he's currently traveling, taking a look at other schools, you have to assume there's at least a chance that he is out. So again, the Horns could be going after 2 more linebackers, and their top 2 targets are the top 2 ranked linebackers in the portal, Cade Uluave from Cal and Rasheem Biles from Pitt. I feel good about the Horns getting at least one of those guys, but if they're as hungry as they seem to be at running back, they could get both of them. Uluave was on campus yesterday. I think he got to Austin Thursday, had a 2-day visit. Biles is also currently in Austin. He's wrapping up his 2-day visit today on Saturday. Texas not alone here. Michigan is in the mix for both. Miami is also involved with Biles. A few other schools are trying too, but both of these guys would be plug-and-play starters for Will Muschamp. Again, the current top 2 backers in the transfer portal. Uluave is one, second-team All-ACC this year. A little breakdown on his game. 6'1", 230, 1 year of eligibility left. We've talked about him some on this channel, so just a quick refresher here. Pac-12 Defensive Freshman of the Year in 2023. All-ACC honorable mention. Yes, Cal is in the Atlantic Coast Conference. No, it doesn't make any sense. We're all still trying to figure it out. But All-ACC honorable mention last year, put up some really good numbers. And then in 2025, 90 tackles, a career high, a team high. Also had 11.5 TFLs, 3 sacks, 6 PBUs. He did all of that despite missing at least half of 3 games and a full game dealing with injury this year. Uluave, not just a 1-year wonder, 34 games at Cal, 235 total tackles, a bunch of other stats, 3 interceptions, 6 sacks. He's done a little bit of everything for Cal, and again, would be an instant starter for Coach Boom in the heart of that Texas defense. And then Rasheem Biles, also second-team All-ACC in 2025. This dude put up some video game numbers for the Panthers. How about 101 tackles, 17 TFLs, which was second in the conference, 4.5 sacks, 2 pick sixes, a fumble return for a touchdown, 2 forced fumbles, and 4 PBUs. I know the ACC ain't the SEC, but dude, that is Ridiculous production from Rasheem Biles. Didn't play much as a freshman in 23, played a lot in 24, put up some solid stats that year too, but his game reached new heights this past fall. 6'1", 215, 220, so a little bit smaller than Uluave and your stereotypical linebacker. But again, the production was absolutely there. That will play at Texas. No question about it. He's also a rental with just 1 year of eligibility remaining. Either one of those guys would be great pickups, but hey, why stop at one? I want both. It's the weekend. Let us have some fun. And we didn't have enough fun this past week, so I would like to make up for it. What about y'all? There's the latest with Texas in the portal. Again, Hollywood Smothers on campus right now. Mikey Bennett on campus right now. And 2 top flight offensive linemen are either currently here or just left from being here. Good news coming for Texas, and we need it. But I trust in this coaching staff, and there are still so many good players in the portal and still a bunch of guys who have yet to enter that would make for great additions for the 2026 Texas Longhorns. Steve Sarkisian and company putting in work overtime to make sure that this roster is going to be championship level when we get to the fall. That'll do it for this episode. If you made it this far, number 1, God bless you. Number 2, please remember to like, subscribe, share, rate 5 stars, leave a comment, all of those great things. Can't thank y'all enough for your continued support of what we're building here on Locked On Longhorns. But that'll do it for this one. Thanks so much for tuning in. Until next time, horns up, mic's off. We'll see y'all soon. This is Locked On Longhorns. But before we go, a quick word for our friends at FanDuel. The college football playoff continues, 1 game left, and our friends at FanDuel are giving all customers even more ways to get in on the action during game days during the playoff. Because right now, during every college football playoff game day, FanDuel users get a profit boost waiting for them in the app. Here's what I love about it. You get to use the profit boost on the bets you already feel good about. If you want to ride with the favorite when you think a team is controlling the matchup, if you want to take a shot at the underdog, you could do it. How about a parlay around players and moments that you think will decide the game? Then you apply that profit boost and go after even bigger winnings. And the best part, even when you win, FanDuel pays out instantly. Some other places don't do that. FanDuel does, which is perfect for playoff football. FanDuel is the best place to get in on the action all playoff long. So visit FanDuel.com to get your college football playoff profit boosts every game day with our friends at FanDuel.